A story that really highlights someone who falls into this very competitive frame is a client I coached a few years ago. Okay, this was one-on-one coaching, and he jumps on, this is online, on Skype, and he starts telling me, hey, I've had this problem my entire life. Every time I get into a relationship, it starts off well. Everyone knows the honeymoon phase. And then after a while, I start getting really paranoid, very, you could say, overbearing, even very possessive, and all my relationships tend to end, or guess what? That very thing he feared would happen, happened. Okay, he'd get cheated on, he'd be betrayed, and he knew it was bad. He's like, I want to get out of this, but he couldn't stop his mind from just looping and looping and looping. Okay, to the point where, this is how extreme it can get, by the way. He was in a long-distance relationship, and he was dating someone in another city. And he would see this person maybe once, twice a month. And he told me on one of the calls, he's like, okay, I got to tell you about my current situation. I'm dating this person, and it's going well. And, I know it's going well because, I'm always checking in with that person, right? So every single day they're texting. Every single day it's, hey, where are you tonight? Every single day, oh, you're going out with some friends? What friends? And I look them up on Facebook to be sure, I'll find their Instagrams, like just over the top paranoid. And it got to a point where he's like, I'm going to see this person next week. And there's one thing that I have there that I know it's going to really let me know for sure whether this person cheated or not. At this person's place, there is a box of condoms. We've used a few. There's some left. I believe there are 7 left. I'm like, okay. You counted them, okay. So I will know when I see this person again, if there's not 7 condoms left, that something happened. I will also see, hey, if it's a new box and there are more than 7, something will happen. And check this out, Julien. I'm a smart guy. Even if there are 7 left, I wrote down the serial number of every single condom, so I will know if any were replaced. That's how extreme this can get, by the way. Now, for this client, though, massive respect, because at least he was aware of it, right? Awareness is always step 1. He was aware of it, but he just couldn't help it. When that seeps into a relationship, it'll tend to just amplify. It kind of gets this life of its own. And in the end, you tend to manifest that very thing that you fear, or the person you're seeing is just like, you know what? Screw this. Where's the trust? If there's no trust, and you don't trust me at all, done. It's really, really toxic. I also know another person where whenever this person would travel, his partner would make him play World of Warcraft. This is a true story. So everyone might go out to dinner, would go out at night, but he would have to stay there in the hotel room. This is not a close friend of mine, just an acquaintance. Playing World of Warcraft so that his partner knew for sure that nothing was happening. Because it wasn't enough to just be like, hey, so here I am, just texting. They were playing World of Warcraft together. And if anything was going on, he would not be able to focus and play correctly, and his partner would know something is up. Crazy, no? Right? A lot of people too, they have to track their phones. They might even like, okay, give me the password of your phone, the password of your email, and they're monitoring everything. It is terrible. And what you have to ask yourself, if that's you, okay, and this is the first thing that I asked him is it worth it? Is that what you got into a relationship for? Right? This prison of just paranoia, always worried, what if, what if, what if? Always in this like over-the-top defense protection mode. Is that a relationship? Is that the goal? And he asked me, he's like, but Julien, how do you trust? Right? How do you? And what it really comes down to, this is the foundation, and we're going to go a lot deeper, is number 1, realizing that that strategy is flawed, right? Because he would also go down the online vortex of all the reasons you should not trust your partner and why your partner will listen to their DNA above all else, and like total just toxic information reinforcing this competitive state, right? So I told him the strategy is flawed because guess what? You've been doing this for a long time. You've been doing this for your entire life. Has it worked? No. You probably got cheated on more than the average person because of this. So realizing the strategy is flawed will take away a bit of that power. And number two, it's realizing that that strategy is giving you the exact thing you're trying to avoid. Right? You're trying to cover your bases. Oh, my partner, what about my partner? Where are they? In order to feel at ease, safe, and secure. But by doing so, you never actually feel safe and secure. Okay? And if something were to happen, say your partner were to cheat, well, guess what? You have a choice there. Number one is, say it happens, you can stress and obsess over it and actually make it happen a lot. Say sooner, or actually manifest it. So you're not enjoying the entire relationship and then it still happens. Or you can just choose, you know what? I'm going to trust. And if it happens, that'll suck. But at least my time leading up to it will be enjoyable. Funny enough, if you zoom out, it's also an approach that we all take with life here, right? Do any of you go about your days obsessing over all the different ways you could die? Yes or no? What kind of life is that, right? Like, technically, if you think about it, though, every single second we are beating the odds. Every single second. Like, right now, any one of us could have a brain aneurysm and die. In this moment, this second. Maybe even me. Knock on wood. Like, saying this is like, right? You know, knock on wood. But technically, that could happen. Which is crazy, right? Technically, you could walk outside, bang, get hit by a car. Right? You could get on one of those little scooter bird things and fall. There are so many things that could happen. Right? You know, something could fall from the sky and you're dead. Who knows? Some crazy fluke situation. Knowing that, though, are you going to live your life always just paranoid? Like every time it's like, I'm about to cross the street and just over the top, or always looking up at the sky, something falling, is something falling? No, that's no way. Right? And then we all really make the choice here, because we do live with this constant threat, which is life, which is existence. We all make the choice to be like, you know what? I'm not going to let that put me in that state of fear of competitiveness. We all just accept it. Hey, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, but I'm going to enjoy my experience until then. Same approach in a relationship. Hey, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, but I'm going to enjoy that relationship until then. Now, does that mean turn a blind eye to obvious signs? No. Does it mean be gullible? No. Does it mean be naive? No. You can still be aware of that and take, you could say, protective measures out of love versus out of fear and paranoia. The same here, right? Like, if you're crossing the street, you're not going to be like, well, you know what? It could happen, it could happen. You're just never looking and just crossing whenever. No. You're still aware. But you're not overly paranoid. You don't let it poison your experience being here alive. And unfortunately, that's what happens in those relationships. It just poisons it. And people get so paranoid. And trust me, if you look for reasons to be paranoid, you will find 1,000,001 reasons to be paranoid. Trust me, if you want to find proof that every relationship is just destined to fail and you could never ever trust your partner, you're going to find a lot of proof. You will. On the flip side, if you want to find proof that, hey, actually a lot of relationships are not destined for that, you can trust your partner, you will also find proof of that. Depends where your focus is. Okay? Now, for someone who's really in that paranoid state, and this is another thing that I told this client, is cut off any information that is reinforcing that. There's a certain feedback loop. All right? Oh, I'm paranoid. Let me find the tells. Oh, more reasons to be paranoid. Cut that. Cut off all information, all content that reinforces it, and actually shift your focus towards content and information that reinforces that you can trust others, that you can trust your partner, that you can trust the world. Okay? This can be very tough. You're like, oh, but just breaking that feedback loop, very, very powerful. You can also reflect on this perspective. What's your relationship like with the world? What comes up thinking about that? What's your relationship like with life? And you can go subtle, of course. For some people, it's life's life, and it's me versus, and there's nothing you can really do about it. I'm a little victim. All right? There's the competitive state of being a victim. There's the competitive state of apathy, where it's like, life's not on my side, but what's the point? There's the competitive state of fear. You know, me versus life, must protect myself, paranoid. And then there's even the competitive state where it sparks up some anger and motivation. You're like, it's me versus life, but I'm going to do something about it. I won't let it bog me down. I won't let it get me. But all of that is still a competitive state, right? What's your relationship like with other people? Can you allow yourself to be seen? Can you open yourself up to life, open yourself up to the world? Oh, but what if then that exposes all my weaknesses? Well, hey, you know, I'm not safe. You're not safe right now, all paranoid, all closed off. You're literally self-generating that feeling of not being safe. You get that, right? By always protect, you're literally giving yourself that outcome you're trying to avoid. Okay, so those are some of the surface things to really reflect on. But then it's really introspecting and visiting your past. When did this come about? When did you stop trusting the world? When did you stop trusting life? When did you stop trusting other people? What are some of those experiences? And for him, going back to his childhood, there was a lot of trauma there. A lot of trauma that he believed, that made him believe at a young age that people were not to be trusted. That you had to protect yourself. You had to look for those signs. You had to be paranoid. That it's not okay to be alive and just let someone in. Let someone truly see you. And once we started working on that, things started shifting.